Here. I'm here with good friend Michael Beresford. This is the OpenKitchen. What we want to do is create basically a weekly series for you. We're going to go through all things property. We're going to get people to challenge us. We get huge amounts of questions sent in. I want to bring some of the team members from within the OpenCorp team and explain what they do. So we're going to get in the nitty-gritty of what really a property investment company does and the philosophy behind a property investment company. Sound cool?
Yeah, sounds good. Right. Before we get started, I'm just going to throw out there. Cool. Love the wardrobe, mate. I've had seen some of those videos you've been posting on your Sunday Insights. I've had 3 emails from clients saying, "Oh, those beautiful OpenCorp t-shirts that Cam wears. Oh yeah, I'm after one."
So, OpenCorp t-shirts. What do they do?
OpenCorp on the. There we go.
There you go. See, that's OpenCorp. Now, when I was a kid, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, so I had a very limited range of fashion. So it was basically tight jeans and black t-shirts.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. Cool. I do dress up when I go outside, but this is as formal as I get during business hours. And people ask me why I don't wear suits. A lot of our team members wear suits, obviously our investment consultants, and when we're dealing with banks and joint venture partners and family offices. But the reality is, on a day-to-day basis, my property portfolio doesn't care what I wear. It's quite comfortable to grow in value, regardless of my attire.
I like it.
Yeah, cool.
Very good.
All right.
Very
so
good.
What are we talking today? Hey, we had a challenge during the week. So this is going back a couple of weeks. We had a challenge from a client who was. And we love this sort of interaction with clients when they start to test us and really make us prove what our methodology is. And the problem posed, or the question, or the challenge posed was, blue chip grows at a greater value than middle to outer ring suburbs. And we've done a lot of testing on this in the past, and which has created obviously the MAP process, which we followed to pick the best investment property any time. But we said to them, all right, here's the challenge for you. So we posed it back, and we said, you pick a handful of what you deem affordable suburbs, so less desirable suburbs in the eyes of blue chip, and pick whatever blue chip suburbs you want. And we'll run the data in the background and get it from obviously the Australian Bureau of Statistics and the Titles Office, and we'll deem and we'll give you a comparison on the exact percentage of growth, like for like.
Yeah? There it is, guys. Right.
So, do you want to quickly run through what the suburbs were? And we're not saying to invest in any of these suburbs. We're not deeming these worthy investment suburbs. But run through them. Just this is what the suburbs were thrown.
Yeah. So, from an affordable perspective, we had Broadmeadows, Heidelberg West, Melton, Sunshine, Frankston, St Albans, Dandenong, Deer Park, Werribee, and Sunbury.
So these are Melbourne suburbs, guys. For
all middle to outer ring suburbs within Melbourne. And on the blue chip side, we've had Toorak, Canterbury, Brighton, Malvern, Armidale, Camberwell, Kew, Middle Park, Blackrock, and South Yarra. Okay, so
you live in one of those suburbs, don't you, Michael?
Not quite. I live in the eastern part of one of those suburbs. Thank you very much. Don't be emotional about love where you live. Follow a process when it comes to investment. But what we found was that over a 20-year period, from 1997 to the start of 2018. Not only did the affordable suburbs actually outgrow in total percentage terms.
That's the wife. Text her.
Not only did we find that the affordable suburbs actually outperform in terms of total percentage growth over that 20-year period, but the really important part is understanding the rental yields across those. Okay, so without getting too technical in what is kind of a fairly relaxed environment, guys, the takeaway is this. Because the rental yields on blue chip properties will generally be half of what they are on more affordable suburbs, and we're even getting better than some of these rental yields in the areas that we advocate, right? So you use this as a mental model. Basically, for the same amount of cash flow out of your pocket, then you could easily hold 5 properties in affordable suburbs, right, for every 1 property in a blue chip area. So what that equates to is over $3 million worth of asset growing over time compared to $2 million worth of asset growing over time. So if we look at what that means from this growth perspective over a 20-year period, just by doing that, 5 versus 1, you're well over $1 million better off.
So just to make this really clear, the easiest way to create wealth is to hold the most amount of asset for the least amount of money out of your back pocket. So by buying blue chip property, you're going to have to fork out a lot of money out of your back pocket to hold that, as opposed to the forking out the same amount of money out of your back pocket to hold that asset. You can hold a much higher asset base. And as we've proven, an asset base in these suburbs we pick outperform these ones that have been picked, but these ones that our client pick as affordable housing suburbs have actually outperformed the blue chip.
Yeah, they have. Yeah. And there's a really big, I was having a conversation with a client this morning actually, there's another factor here that purely returns don't look at, and that is risk mitigation. Okay, so if you've got 5 properties in your portfolio, Cam, and one of those tenants moves out, are you too fussed if you've got rental income on the other 4 and you've got a strategy to get a tenant quickly in the other one?
Can handle that, that's
right.
fine.
What if you've got one property with bringing in a lot amount of rent and that one's vacant?
With a big interest repayment waiting for it?
That's lose sleep at night type stuff. So from a risk mitigation, protection, diversification perspective, over and above the growth and the cash flow, that's why we invest in affordable suburbs.
All right, so blue chip, Mythbusters, blue chip does not outperform affordable housing as a like-for-like percentage growth, and blue chip gets smashed by affordable outer ring suburbs because you get a much higher yield. So if you want to become wealthy, buy an outer ring suburbs. If you want to have a nice name tag on your investment you tell your friends about, buy blue chip, as long as you're happy.
Don't be emotional, guys. Follow a process. We'll catch you next time.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.